It's time to place your bets. Let's step into the huddle.
You're listening to the PreSnap Podcast Weekly Wagering Show, brought to you by LineStar App, the top-rated DFS tool set and number one companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Pisapia and Scott Bogman.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to the PreSnap right here on the LineStar app. It is me, it's Scott Bogman, and it's you, and we're talking wagering for the NFL right here on the program. We want to remind everyone, go get that LineStar app and upgrade to that premium product. That way you can get working on your DFS and your wagering and all the things that make you happy when you watch the football, because the football is back and so are we. Scott Bogman, it was a very good DFS kickoff show we just did. I'm excited to do the wagering with you right now. Bogman are also going to bring you our upset special picks as well, so we're very excited to bring you those again. It is a new, fresh start to the NFL season, and I got to say, Boggs, I feel like you got a lot of pressure because I saw your picks last year on the In This League podcast, and you were pretty much on fire, so don't screw up. That's basically what I'm going to say to you.
Well, thanks for the great advice, Joe. I never would have thought of that unless you said it. So that's good.
That's why I'm here.
But yeah, I mean, look, this is something I'm decent at. So, or at least I was last year. So we'll see how good I do this year. But, you know, I told you before, I'm trying. I was way more off the hip last year when doing it. Instead of doing deep dives and stuff like that, I feel like occasionally I get paralysis by analysis or double guess myself. So you're going to hear just the thoughts off the top of my head. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. And you know what? That goes for the, wagering, but also for the DFS stuff. And we do the DFS show as well. So if you're just listening for the first time, you can go subscribe to the PreSnap. We are 3 shows a week for LineStar. We do your recap of the week, the hot take ahead. Then we do our DFS preview on Thursdays, our wagering show on Fridays that comes out. And, when we talk about DFS, we talk about wagering, don't second guess. Don't paralysis analysis or whatever the hell people call it. Because if you have good instincts, if you've done the work, you trust the work, and we all do it sometimes. I'm the king. On Sunday, after the NFL show's done on TV, I turn right back around and I start fiddling with lineups again. And I should never do that. I should just leave everything alone. It's the worst. And I'll tell you what, you know what I did last year,
$2,000 doing that one year. So
let me tell you something. You know what I do? Because I'm such a moron now. I literally have a Post-it note above my my desk area. It says, "Don't touch your lineups, moron." That's what
it's like in Apollo 13 when Kevin Bacon had the no over the cut the cord. He's like, yeah, it's getting a little punchy. Didn't want to push you guys out into space. So I just put a Post-it note over it. Yeah, I a couple years ago, and Welsh lived this agony with me as well. So I was in this big 500-person pick'em tournament, and I was 5th. And week 16 going into week 17. And week 17 has some real weirdness. Week 1 has weirdness too, but week 17 even weirder than week 1 a lot of times. So all I had to do was finish 10th, and I was going to get $1,000. But at 5th, I was at I think 4,800, something like that. And I had my worst week of the year, and I dipped to 18th, and I got my money back plus $8 or something. It was infuriating, and that's because I did so much going into week 17 that I hadn't done the whole year before, and I
there you go. There's a good
about
tale.
It too much.
There's a life lesson for everybody to take with them into the season. And Bogman's right, because week 17 is weird and week 1's going to be weird. So we're going to do our best to just kind of go out there, and you're going to hear us say sometimes, hey, this is one to stay away from, because that's just good advice. Okay. So we're in there with you every single week. And again, we're going to give you our upset specials too as well. So let's start here with the Lions and the Bears at 1:00 on Sunday. The Bears are 3-point underdogs going this one at home to the Lions. The Lions in Detroit here are, look, here's my take on this one. If Kenny Golladay is healthy enough and everything's good and he plays, I actually think this is a pretty safe wager, and I think the Lions win this one by more than a field goal. If he doesn't, I'm running away from this game. The total is 44.5. Don't love this one either. Very unpredictable. I have no idea what the Bears offense is this year. I don't think it's very good, but yet again, it's week 1 and there's always some surprises. If anything, I would lean towards the under. But Bogman, what's your take here on the Lions Bears?
Okay. So I read a tweet earlier today that said the closest thing that we've come to a COVID off season was the almost lockout season. I believe 2011, 2012, somewhere in that
Yeah. Oh,
neighborhood.
yeah.
And week 1, 12 games went over that year, that week 1 of that year. So this is not one of them, though. This is going to be one of
Well, that
the
was a
very
great setup.
few.
You really set me up there. You sucked me in. Boy, way to
I
go.
did. I did, and I knocked you right down. This is not one of the games I want to go over on. Matt Stafford missing a bunch of playing time last year might be a little bit clunky, especially Galladay's got the hamstring. He's a little bit questionable going into this one. The running game just lost a bunch with Swift going out, and they're signing Peterson and all that stuff. So I'm not confident in Detroit or Chicago in this game scoring points. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the under. I think I'm going to take the home team -3 here in Detroit, but I'm not, like you said, I'm not very confident in this one. But I think I'm going to go Detroit straight up and against the spread and take the under.
All right, we got the Ravens at home against the Browns. They're 7.5-point favorites in this one, and rightfully so. I think they've earned that touchdown favorite. It's still a pretty big number here. The Browns offense is capable enough, but this is a very difficult one to not see the Ravens winning this one pretty handily. The over-under is 48.5. I got to tell you, there's another one. Don't have the greatest gauge on. I felt more confident about the Lions with a healthy Galladay than I do with this number at 7.5. But at the same time, Cleveland Browns are not a team that I have enough respect for offensively to cover this either, especially on the road. So I will lean with the Ravens here on this one also. But if anything, is this one of those overs here at 48.5 that you're talking about?
Oh yeah. I'm going to go over on this one. I think I'm going to go over on a lot of these, but this one in particular, I'm definitely going over. I'm going to go with you with Baltimore too. But even Baltimore, they have a lot of moving parts in their defense. They just got rid of Earl Thomas. Calais Campbell's new. They got a rookie starting at middle linebacker and Patrick Queen, maybe 2 rookies on the field. A bunch of Malik Harrison gets that starting gig too. So I think they are going to allow a lot of points, even if Cleveland wants to run the ball more and grind out that clock and keep the defense on the sideline and all that stuff. I don't know how well they're going to be able to do that against Baltimore, especially if they need to play catch up, which I'm expecting they're going to. So over for me, Baltimore against the spread and straight up.
Vikings are 2.5-point favorites at home against the Green Bay Packers. The number is 45.5. Look, the Vikings missing Hunter on defense is a big piece. Kirk Cousins is always inconsistent. Typically, this is a tough building to play in, but under the circumstances, things are very different this year. So I guess, when you take out the home field advantage, you take away the big pass rusher. Is this a potential for not only a Packers cover, but maybe even an upset?
This could be an upset. It definitely could. This might be the hardest one of the week to pick, to be honest with you. I'm going to roll with the home team here. I'm going to stick Minnesota straight up and against the spread. I think they can win on a field goal. Remember, they came out grinding it out last year. They ran the ball. They ran the ball so much that Kirk Cousins only threw 11 passes in week 1 last year. I just that number stuck in my brain because they played the Falcons, Falcons are a great offense, and they were week 1 last year too, but they could not stop the run game and they could not stop the Vikings. So I'm going to take the Vikings. Green Bay.
You know what I think? I think the best bet of this whole game is the Packers on the money line at +116.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's my approach with this one. And that's the first time of the 3 games that we've mentioned that, but I think that is the best approach to this game in particular.
So you're taking the Packers?
I would take the Packers on the money line at +116 because, you're getting the extra juice there.
What are you doing on the over-under?
I would say over. Because I think you can. I think you can get the Packers and Vikings too. I think this lack of games that have been played in the preseason too, people aren't going to have the same stamina that they normally would coming in. Not that they played a ton, but just a little bit more in-game action. I feel like things are going to get wacky as we get into the 3rd and 4th quarter of some of these games. That's just my instincts. And I think this could be one of them, especially these teams that play each other, know each other so well anyway. The familiarity kind of breeds a little of that contempt, and this is a very important game. So it's not like, it's an out-of-division game, those on the road out of division games, those are ones you always got to be afraid of. Teams kind of don't show up for them, but they show up for these kind of games. So I think this is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah. You know what? I know I said the thing about the overs before, but I think I'm going to go under. I hate this one. I'm not betting this one.
Well,
I
then
think
you stay away. And
yeah,
that's
the next 3 or 4 are much easier than this one.
All right. So the Colts are road favorites, 7.5. That's a big number for a road favorite. That's a pretty big number, but it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love the Colts D, love the offensive line. I don't love it, but I like it. It's good. It's good enough. The over under 45.5. I'm not going to touch this one because I'm terrified of garbage time screwing this one up. So if anything, I will just go with the Colts here, minus 7.5. I do think they can cover this one and win by more than 7.5. Your thoughts on the Colts Jags?
This is a Colts route. This is week 1 of Tank for Trevor for Jacksonville. They are going to disappoint the home. I mean, I think Florida's like, just have as many people in there as you want. We don't care. So they'll actually have a crowd in Jacksonville, I think. I may be mistaken there, but
you can't tell because it looks like the normal crowd there.
Just exactly like how Southern Miss versus South Alabama. I was like, this is about what they would have if the whole stadium was full, was able to be full. It's about what they would have. But yeah, I mean, this is an easy over. Colts, and more Colts.
All right, let's see if this next one's easy. It's the Raiders and Panthers. The Panthers are home underdogs here. Vegas Raiders are 3-point favorites in this one. The over-under is 47.5. Now, this one I can see going in the over because I don't care for either of these defenses. And not that these offenses are juggernauts, but when you have Christian McCaffrey, who is all-world, and you have the home debut for Teddy Bridgewater, I think it's going to be a certain amount of pride. I'll take the Panthers on this side. I tell you right now, I do not trust the Raiders on the road. And the Raiders last year were like the kings of being in games they shouldn't be in and then just blowing games that they should win. I remember when they were basically on a path to make the playoffs. And I remember that they went to play the Jets. It was a game they should have won, and they got their butt handed to them. And you're looking at yourself like, what's going on here? And to me, that is the Raiders, and that's why I don't trust them. I don't trust the Raiders on the road. Give me the Panthers in this one.
So, all right, I like that because straight up, the Panthers are plus 146 too. So I like that for you. I'm going to take the Raiders here. I don't like this game. I don't know that I would put a bunch of money down on it. I do think it is easier to pick. You've got a rookie head coach. You've got, a quarterback working with new pieces. You have a defense that struggled last year, and they drafted 7 parts of it. In the draft, they spent literally all their draft picks on the defense, but that's a lot of rookies, So I'm going to go with the Raiders. I know this is another one of those rules that you don't like to mess with as far as teams going across country and all that stuff. I don't know if that's a hard and fast rule that you follow at all, Joe, but I know it's
one that I consider, but in this kind of season where, nobody's traveled at all yet, it's so early in the year. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird. This is the weirdest week 1 ever with no preseason, nothing going on. But I'm just looking at it. I'm like, look, the Raiders on the road. I'm not super excited about them. They've had injuries already too. Yes, I do love Josh Jacobs, but I think the Panthers in this one. I think I said I'll take the Panther side of this one. I think they can win this game outright, but I think they can at least cover it.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I'm not. You've barely ever, if you've heard me talk about betting, you've barely ever heard out of my mouth, I'm going to go with the Raiders. But I think in week 1 against a rookie head coach, you're hearing it from me now. So,
all right, let's go to the next one. I'm shocked by this one because the Patriots are 6.5-point favorites at home against the Dolphins, who beat them last year at home at the end. And I just think this is a lot of respect, and the Patriots deserve respect. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Pats fan, and I'm the one who's kind of questioning this line. I thought this would be somewhere around like 3.5 or something like that. I'm a little worried at this one. I prefer the Dolphin side of this one. Give me the Dolphins with the 6.5 because I just don't think that, I think it takes time for a team to come together, and the lack of reps that they've had in games is going to be tough. I think the Pats are going to win this game, but I don't think they're going to win it by more than by 6.5. I don't think they're win it by a touchdown and more. So I'll take the Dolphin side of this one, the 6.5, Boggs.
Yeah, defense for Miami, while they added a bunch of pieces, it's still a work in progress. So I
Well, so is the
know,
Pats offense. They have, you know what? They don't
I
have a healthy
know.
running back outside of James White right now. It's tough.
Look, I understand that the and you see the reports about Cam Newton is taking 1 million sacks because he's waiting for anyone not named Edelman to get open, and they have young tight ends and banged up tight ends, and N'Keal Harry can't separate to save his life, and all that stuff. I get it. I understand all of that, but Miami's defense is young. They're traveling. It's week 1 of this weird year. No, thank you. I cannot invest my money in the Dolphins. So I know our buddy.
I'm not investing my money in the Dolphins. I'm just investing it on. I'm investing it in the questionable Patriots offense because I just can't see them pulling away. That's the thing. It's and the defense missing the pieces they are. I don't think they're going to be quite as dominant. They've always been a turnover defense. That's what they do. And I don't love the Dolphins.
They were dominant last year in that first game. They won, what was
look,
it? 40,
I hope I'm wrong.
42 to whatever. So
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Patriots wipe the floor with the Dolphins. I'm very mad about last year and how that season finished. Believe me, I'm mad about Mike Vrabel sticking it to me. I'm mad about Brian Flores and the Dolphins sticking it to me. All the ex-Patriot guys. But let me tell you something. I'm trying to again keep it real. I think the Pats will win this one by a field goal.
When keeping it real goes wrong, Joe. This is
goes wrong. The 42 is another one too. I'm staying away from that. I don't want anything to do with that number. You can stuff that number in a sack. I want nothing to do with it.
New England might get that by themselves, so I'll take it.
I sure hope so. Buffalo Bills hosting the Jets. Bills are 6.5-point favorites in this one, as they should be. Give me the Bills in this one. How about you, Boggs?
Yeah, I mean, this is you have an abnormal over-the-top hatred of the Jets.
It's not hatred. It's realization. It's a terrible roster. It's a terrible defense. The head coach doesn't get along with his players. His quarterback is in the 3rd year. He hasn't been healthy enough to have a full, healthy, good season yet. He's got hardly any wide receivers to throw to. What's there to like about the Jets?
Are you guys seeing what I'm talking about right here? This is exactly what I'm talking about. No, and I understand that. And I'm taking Buffalo in the over. Buffalo against the spread. Buffalo straight up. Buffalo over. Look, the Jets have Rashad Perriman is banged up. They're starting Blake Cashman and Avery Morrow or Avery Williamson
against one of the best defenses in the league.
Against not only against one of the best defenses, but you have a nice 1-2 punch. I mean, I know for fantasy purposes that Zach Moss and Singletary are going to eat into each other and all that stuff, but that's a pretty good running game, running right up the gut against those, a linebacker coming off a massive knee injury and a guy that has 3 starts. So give me Buffalo, give me the over, and give me death.
All right, let's go to the next one here. The Eagles at Washington football team, which is just every time I see it, it's just awesome. It just feels like a video game simulation of the NFL. I love it. The Eagles are 5.5-point favorites in this one. I always worry about garbage time, and I know these two teams in week 1 last year got real close and dicey at the end there. And you know what? Miles Sanders not being 100% doesn't make me feel good either. I think Washington can cover this game, but I'm going to go with the Eagles here. And just, you know what? I think Washington's this bad. I don't think they have definition in the running game right now. I think this could be, a long day at the office for Washington here in Ron Rivera's new regime here. And I don't even know, is Ron Rivera going to be on the field or no? I don't think he is, right?
I think he's going to be on the field until he says that he has to take some time off. So,
okay.
I think I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, I'm going to take Philly in this one too. This is, Washington is heading in the right direction as far as on the field stuff goes. So, I am intrigued by them, and I think I'll be taking them in more than a couple games this year, but not week 1. Week 1 is too weird. I like to stick fairly chalk on week 1 to avoid the weirdness. So I'll go Philly.
All right. Next one here. The Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Falcons. This one is obviously the Seahawks are favorites in this one, -1.5 for them. So I feel like this is about right. I think the Seahawks are going to win this football team because in the end, the Falcons defense is going to allow that to happen. So give me the Seahawks in this one. The number's 49.5. Give me the over in this one. This is my favorite over so far that we've hit, right? That I feel like, yep, just give it to me. We're good. We're good with the over here. Like next, your thoughts on Falcon Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just think that Seattle matches up really well with what Atlanta likes to do, specifically offense versus defense. We talked about it on the DFS show. We both love DK Metcalf. And if DK Metcalf is covered by Oliver, that means the rookie AJ Terrell gets Lockett. And Terrell's a great corner. Don't get me wrong. He's first round corner. But Lockett is a gritty, wily vet. So I'm excited to see this matchup. And I think Atlanta is going to be better. I think Todd Gurley does make them a little bit better.
They finished really strong last year. They were 6-2 down the stretch. So the inverse of what they were 2-6 to start the year. And I'm with you. I think Gurley's going to help them. But in the end, they're just going to get outscored, I think, by Seattle because their defense is just terrible. And Seattle's
I want to see him gel. I want to see him gel.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. This next one here, the Bengals at home. Joe Burrow makes his debut in Cincinnati, but he's an underdog against the Chargers. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites in this one. I tell you, I do not trust the Chargers, man. I just don't. I think Joe Burrow can make this real interesting. I'll take the Bengals on this side to cover the 3.5. I think they will.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals straight up as well at home against the Chargers. Look, the Chargers are fine, and the defense is good, but they just lost a big piece in Derwin James. This stuff seems to happen to them every year. I'm not super confident in Tyrod. I think he's a better fit for their offense than Phillip Rivers was moving forward because he can move east-west, where Rivers that was not his game. And with the bad offensive line, you got to be able to move left and right. You just have to afford yourself a couple more seconds. And Herbert can do the same thing if Tyrod is struggling, but the Bengals should be improved. The defense is still a mess, so I'm going to take the over. I think both teams are going to score in this game, but I got the Bengals straight up in this one.
All right. I'm with you. I think the Bengals can do this as well. Let's go to the next one. You're not going to like this. I'm sure you're not. San Francisco 49ers are 7-point favorites at home against the Cardinals, who give them fits. I think the Cardinals are feeling it, man. And look, the 49ers, I know they made it to the Super Bowl. I heard all the defense. I've heard all, yeah. Great. Debo just came back. It's still a running back by committee. Mostert was really good, but will it carry over? Nobody knows for sure. I just feel like the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing, and it seems like this is the best way to get that started. I think the Arizona Cardinals cover this 7, and I think they even have a chance to win this game. That's right. I said it. I think it's going to be the year of the Seahawks winning this division, not the 49ers. And just go back and look. Go back and look at the last 10 years. Only 2 quarterbacks had good seasons after losing a Super Bowl. Their names were Russell Wilson, who won a Super Bowl before he lost one, and Tom Brady. So you throw that right out the window. All the other guys, Matt Ryan, after the crushing loss, had his lowest touchdown total ever, 20 touchdowns. Cam Newton, 15-1 season, goes to the Super Bowl. They lose to the Super Bowl. What happens the next year? Terrible. The Panthers are awful. You just go back, look at the Rams. How'd the Rams do last year after losing to the Patriots? Not well. Okay? So this is a thing. And if you think it's not a thing, show me the last 10 years, the guys who rebounded that weren't named Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. And then we can talk about it. So for me, I love this Cardinals thing here. I love the +7. Give me the Cardinals and the points. How about you, Boggs? You going with the 49ers? You going to the chalk here on this one?
Well, I just want to point out real quick, if you're taking them, you're taking the Cards straight up. That's one of the highest, payouts.
+245.
Yeah,
baby.
Jacksonville's +310. I think the Browns are +295, and that's it. That's it as far as the Sunday games go. So that's one of the biggest payouts. So I'm not brave enough to do that. I'll take the Niners straight up, but I will take the Cardinals against the spread. I love Kyler Murray in his second year. I don't understand why people are fading DeAndre Hopkins in season-long fantasy, going to the Cardinals from the Texans. I don't get it. You have another number 1 overall quarterback there in a Cliff Kingsbury offense where they like to throw the ball every single play. So I think they're going to keep point for point with the Niners, and that's how this game is going to play out. So I'm going to take the over fairly easy, and I'm going to take the Cards against the spread. I think this comes down to whoever has the ball last.
Fair enough. All right. Here we go. This is it. The big one. New Orleans Saints hosting the Buccaneers. The Saints are 3.5-point favorites in this one. This feels about right to me. I think this, Tom Brady, I think will keep it interesting with his new set of toys, but in the end, I think it will be the Saints. And the Saints had a problem putting away teams last year, so I don't expect that to be any different this year. Therefore, I'm going to stay away from this. I'm not, because I feel like it is spot on. I feel like that if anything, I'll take the Bucs in the 3.5 because I think it might even be tighter than this. Like I think it might be a field goal game you win at the end, barely by the 3 or by 2 or by a point. And that kind of, like you said, whoever has the ball at the end. That's the feeling it is, because I just don't trust the Saints to put anybody away. I just don't do it. They haven't done it. And in the Dome, it seems like it's always one of these things where I just keep everyone's run up the score. The number's 49.5. I'll take the over in this one. I know it's huge. I don't care. Your thoughts on Saints Bucks?
Yeah, I think the safest thing might be the over, right? Because we know the Bucs offense is good, even if they don't have the running game going. Bruce Arians doesn't like to run the ball anyway. So let's just sling the ball. I think it will hurt, if Mike Evans is truly out. Looks like he is as we're recording this. So I'm going to take the Saints. They're at home, and the Bucs defense is still rough against the pass. The corners are rough. They added Antoine Winfield in the draft, but this is his first ever NFL start. So I'm not excited to see what he does against a guy like Michael Thomas. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take New Orleans straight up and against the spread. But I'm with you with less confidence as far as the line goes. But over under, I think this is fairly easy over.
What happens if the Bucs come out there and just lay an egg in week 1? Do you take anything out of that? Like, what if New Orleans wins this one? I don't know, like 35-10. It's just an embarrassing blowout.
Well, I think you hear excuses for the Bucs, and I'm not saying that they're warranted or not, but if the Bucs go out and lay an egg, it's Brady's first game in a new uniform ever. It's they don't know what they're doing at running back. Mike Evans didn't play. The defense is still young, and yada. You're gonna hear all the excuses for why, and they might be right. But also it might just be, hey, same old Bucs.
All right, let's go to the Sunday night game here. The Rams hosting the Cowboys. Cowboys are 3-point favorites here, despite being on the road. Give me the Cowboys in this one. I think they're just a much better team than the Rams. I'm sorry.
Can you be less enthusiastic about that? You sound like terrible. You really don't want to take the Cowboys.
I just really hate I think the Rams are going to be an embarrassment again this year. Like, I just think they're going to be terrible. Their run game is dead right now. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not good. I'm sure it'd be great if Akers ended up getting that job and running away with it eventually, but so far, not in week 1. And week 1, the Cowboys are going to go in there and just thrash the Rams. That's my feeling on this one. The number is 51.5. I'm going to go over because I think that Rams will try to play catch up at the end. And the Cowboys are also a team that did not put people away last year. So I will go over. I will go Cowboys. I feel pretty good about this one. How about you, Box?
I despise this game. I do not like it at all. The Rams opening up that new gorgeous stadium is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, that stadium is going to be awesome. Hopefully the sunsets aren't just, red and orange for them. I mean, it looks like Arizona sunsets they're having in California right now because of all the fires and stuff. But I'm going to take the Rams against the spread in this one. I think they come out a lot better. I mean, this is a team you just mentioned is a year and a half removed from a Super Bowl appearance. They're not as terrible as they're making it out to be. They lost a lot on defense, so I am going to take the over. But I'm going to cowards bet my way out of this one. I'm going to take Dallas straight up and Rams against the spread and probably lay no money on it.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the Monday night games, the early game, the Steelers and Giants. That's going to be a fun one. Look at you. You get a Monday night football game. It's going to be like 4:00 for you in the afternoon. The world will stop. Look, the Steelers are 5.5-point favorites in this one. 47.5 is the number. My favorite bet going into this season is the over on the Steelers win total because it's 9 on FanDuel and they won 8 games last year. That's absurd. They won 8 games with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph playing quarterback. This defense is for real. I'm very much into the Steelers this year. I think the Giants are actually the better football team in New York by far. I think this is a loss for them. Question is it 5.5? When you have players like Saquon and Shepard and Ingram, there's a lot of talent on this Giants team. I think they can be plucky, but I think in the end, the Steelers are going to win this football game. The 5.5 is where I struggle. Like this is this is a good number.
Well,
this is why they build hotels. This
I want you to close your eyes, Joe. And I want you to imagine this improved, admittedly, offensive line of the Giants trying to handle the Steelers pass rush.
Yeah, okay. There's your 5.5. Okay.
Yeah.
You know why? Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna until Daniel Jones proves he can hold on to the football. That's good. That's where things are gonna go awry. Because he's going to get hit by TJ Watt
right
and
after
then
that football.
right. He's going to hit by TJ Watt and then somebody else is going to pick that ball up and run it back. And that defensive score, that defensive play, there's your 6 right there. So, all right, there you go. You did it. Congratulations, Boggs. You sold me on that. Give me the Steelers and the 5.5 there. I assume you're the same.
Yeah.
I mean, 47.5. You go over or under in this one.
For me, it's terrible. Anytime I bet on the Steelers with my money, they lose. So I'll just let everyone know I'm putting no money on the Steelers ever. So when you hear me pick them, maybe I'm being a homer. I will pick against them if I don't think they're going to win. But I'm not a big enough homer to risk your money on it. So for this one, I'm taking Pittsburgh in the over. Yes.
I will take the over in Pittsburgh as well. So we'll be the same. Last but not least, the late game, Denver Broncos, who now do not have Von Miller for the year. That's terrible. I love
Bradley Chubb's going to be on a pitch count. So,
yeah.
But at least their starting middle linebacker, Todd Davis, went out and they just flat out cut him the other day. So lots and lots of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, lots of Derrick Henry. Give me the Titans in this one. -1.5. This is an easy one. The Titans are going to roll the Broncos. I'm sorry. They're just going to. The Titans are for real, folks. This is not just a good Cinderella story last year. The defense is good. The Clowney signing is an interesting one. I think it's going to help at least for a few games, like Clowney does every year. He helps a team for a couple games, and then the other couple games, you go, oh, yeah. He's good for like 4 or 5 good games, and then the other ones he's either hurt or non-existent. But he'll make an impact. Jayon Brown is going to be playing. I think that's another plus too. 41.5 is the number. Let's see. This is a tricky one.
I'll go over because I still like Cortland Sutton
too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I still like Cortland Sutton. I still like, Jerry Jeudy's first game, but Jerry Jeudy is an excellent route runner. So I'm excited about him. Noah Fant is a playmaker. So I think when they're playing catch up and garbage time and all that stuff, I
the Broncos in garbage time. Yeah, I'm with you. Give me the over in this one too. Give me the Titans. And there you have it. Those are the games. And that means it's time for the upset special. So this is what we do. We want to hear your upset special too. So if you want to get involved and win some free stuff from LineStar, go and follow us over at LineStar App and LineStar NFL and retweet this and give us your upset special. And you can win some free swag courtesy of the LineStar app, the best DFS tool site out there. So Bogman, you can go first. Where are you going with your upset special this week?
Bengals. And it's weird to have a home team as the upset special, but Chargers are -3.5 in this one. I'm going to take Cincinnati. They played hard those first couple weeks last year as well. And remember, they almost beat Seattle in Seattle week 1 last year. So I'm thinking if they're at home playing the Chargers, I think they got this game with a better quarterback and all that stuff.
I do not think the Panthers are a good football team, but I do think they're going to beat the Raiders. I do. I just think they are. I think CMC is going to do enough, and the Raiders defense is just, it ain't there for me. I think the Panthers are going to find a way at home to squeeze this one out, and people are going to be shaking their heads, and then the Raiders will go beat somebody they shouldn't beat, and the cycle will begin again. So give me the Panthers, my upset special this week. You got Bogman, so go over and follow us. Again, retweet this segment over at LineStar App, and go subscribe to the PreSnap. We are DFS. We are the recap in the NFL, the week that was, and of course, this wagering show as well. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to the PreSnap NFL DFS show, courtesy of the LineStar app. That'll do it for us in week 1. Have a great time, everybody. Have some fun. Enjoy watching football. My goodness, I'm so happy, and so is Bogman, that football is finally back. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. There's nothing left to do now except set down, win.
You've been listening to the PreSnap Podcast weekly wagering show brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, drop a rating, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from Joe Pisapia and Scott Bogman.